Welcome to Insight Plug, the podcast where independent creators and entrepreneurs connect and inspire. I'm your host, Devon Jones. Today on our show, we have actor and writer Andrew Burr. Andrew, welcome to the show.
Hey man, thank you for having me. How are you?
Good, good. Glad to have you here. So we got some short film, we got an event that you went to, and also you speak several languages. But before we jump into that, let's talk about Andrew as an actor. When did you discover that acting was going to be a career path for you?
Acting. The first time I acted, I was in primary school. Like I found myself attracted to acting, and I gravitated towards acting ever since I was a kid. It was the first type of extracurricular activity I would gravitate towards. Whenever there was a play at the school, or whenever somebody wanted to do something, I would be like the first to pop off my chair and be like, "Pick me, pick me, pick me." So yeah, that was the thing. I was in this sphere of arts. I also love literature, so acting and literature. And then, life happened and computers started being a thing. And like my parents wanted me to have a secure future. So they was like, you should do computer programming. So for high school, I did IT. And then from there, I went on to become an air traffic controller, given I was good at math. So now I'm also working as an air traffic controller at an airport here in Ireland. And, as time goes by, you're like, midlife crisis, I suppose. And you're like, okay, maybe I should do something that makes me happy as well. I have the career now, I have the family, I have the car, I have the house, I have my partner. So what am I doing? I have everything, and something was still missing. So like going back to childhood, and it was like I was the happiest when I was on stage. I was happiest when I was acting. I was the happiest when I was reading scripts, when I was deciphering characters and symbols and everything you have in literature and in drama. So I went back to acting. It was just like that. It's like you wake up one morning, I was like, I should go back to that. That was my first love. That was what I wanted to do. If it wasn't for money, that's something that I would do until the end of days. So that's how I went back to acting after a break of 20 something years.
Awesome, awesome. I love it, and I am glad you're back because the work that you've put out has been amazing. So you decided to go back to acting. So how did you jump back in? Did you go to any auditions? Did you stumble across a director or producer anywhere?
The way the industry in Ireland works right now is you're either starting like it's more like a business thing, you know? It's the same as somebody would pick an accountant. You have to go to a school that's on the profile, the same with acting. So if you want to start now and be noticed by casting directors in Ireland, you will have to do all the things as you would do in any other industry because there's like so much big money right now in Ireland. There's a lot of American productions coming over here. Um, who was I can't remember right now, but there was a huge actor who said it's actually cheaper to fly the entire casting crew to Ireland than to film in the studio in LA. So there's a lot of big productions coming in Ireland. So because of that, because of the money involved, and because of the amount of projects coming here, people are looking at it more from like a business point of view. Even though the Irish themselves, they're more like, the initial Druidic societies, the highest ranking were poets and speakers. And now it's going more into the American side of filmmaking. They're looking at it from a business point of view. So they're looking for actors, producers, and everything, people who have a lot of experience with it. So if you're starting now, later in life, the way you do it is you make your own work. So my partner started writing scripts and I'm writing scripts as well. So the short film that I did with the Golden Dream Shower, he wrote it and then we made it ourselves. The other two that I'm writing right now, I'm writing myself because I want to produce them myself and I want to direct them myself. I want to cast people myself, and then apply for funding and everything. So that's the way right now. If you want, if for example, if you're coming here to Ireland, you want to do something. A few years ago, like 10 years ago, you could have just applied for funding and you've gotten it. because people were just like, yeah, sure, you have a film, sounds interesting, we want to see that. But now it's more business-ish. So you have to you have to look at it from that perspective. If you want to apply for funding now and if you want to produce something, you have to have a track record that what you're doing is viable from a business point of view. It's like applying for any business loan or any business grant. You have to prove you have a return of investment. So that's what I'm building right now. It's building that track record. Paranoia is now involved with two projects in the UK. It's three of us who founded Paranoia. It's myself, my husband, and Ashling Goodwin, who's my best friend, and she was also my accent coach. She was involved in several other projects. She graduated Gaiety, so she has that history of being in the industry for so long and following all the right steps, as they put it, right? So she got us involved with two huge projects in the UK. That's going to help us with funding. We're producing something on a local level here. For one of the films, one of the scripts, I'm focusing when I'm writing. I should maybe start with that. When I'm writing my scripts, I'm focusing on the human experience of it. So one of the scripts that I'm writing is about the aftermath from a mental health point of view of a woman who has a late-term miscarriage. So there's no plot twist, there's no action, there's no like bells and whistles. It's a very serious thing. And I pitched it to a producer and director here in Ireland, and she was like, "You need to finish that yesterday because I want to do this." So things are going in the right direction. Um, it's you know yourself, you're a filmmaker, you know how things are with films. Everybody is in a hurry to not do a lot. So because everything just you build momentum, you build momentum, you build momentum, and then at one point everything just comes to a halt before actually making the big leap.
Mhm.
So I hope I can make this happen this summer, but there's a lot of smaller projects going on because in Ireland they increased tax credits up to 40%, I think, of the amount you spend. So like there's this huge influx of projects that are being made at a local level, and there's an equally huge influx of projects coming from abroad. So everything is busy with everything. It's just everybody's going nuts, mental. Like on the positive side, the industry is busy, and on the downside, it's so busy. You need to meet the right people at the right time and say the right things to get them involved. Because if they get wind of something else and you didn't pitch it correctly, you're going to lose the people, you're going to lose the crew because the next project is whooshing by you and you're still trying there to pick your words. That's not going to fly. So you need some business flair to what you say. That's kind of the way things are going right now.
Nice, nice. That's tough, but also it's a lot of opportunity because there is a lot of projects. You just gotta find the right one right away. And like you mentioned, you pitched your project to the producer and she said, "Hey, you need to finish this. Let's get this going." And I love to hear that. So let's talk about the project that you've worked on so far, Golden Dream Shower. How did that concept come about? And could you share a little bit about that film with us?
So that was a short film that we're still pushing through the film festivals. The concept behind it is the pressure individuals are going through now with social media and the I wouldn't say sexualization, but more like, with so much nudity out there, people are feeling pressure to fit a certain profile mentally, physically, sexually, and like everything emotionally. So that's what the film is about. It's about how it's a bit like taken to the extreme of like the supernatural. Well, this guy finds a product online that makes him look like what the social standard is. So he buys this product. It's a shower. You just You just go to the shower, you take a shower, and then you look perfect. You look like what everybody wants to see. The downside is everyone else looks the same because that's the stereotype. That's the mold, you know? So then he walks out and then he sees everyone looking just like himself. It's a world of clones. Everyone, like being like sexually potent and everybody having the same color and everybody having the same skin tone and the same eye color and the same muscle mass and the same height and everybody has the same style and everybody's like that's that's what's happening in that short film. So everybody is like, okay, wow. And then they realize deep inside they're the same fucking loser they were before. Because it's not the outside that makes you attractive, it's what's the inside, the character, like how you see life and like what do you do in your spare time and like what hobbies you have. And that's what attracts people and partners. It's not necessarily the way you look. Because even if you are like the most handsome man out there or like the most beautiful woman the world has ever seen, if you're shallow, you're still gonna go home alone. That's the idea behind the short.
That's true. I love that concept. And yeah, a lot of people are have this image that they try to, live up to. And when you realize everyone has that same image, you kind of don't want to be that anymore. I
Yeah,
love that. I
exactly.
love that. All right. So now you also have a production company, Paranoia Productions. How did that production company come about?
I was as you know, actors and filmmakers, I suppose you guys are the same. Your mental health goes to a high when you're on the project, and once the project ends, you go on a low. So I just finished the project, and I was talking to Ashling, who also finished several projects herself, and then there's nothing happening for several months because you have work, 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 and then suddenly like there's like I think it was around Halloween or something. It was just everything just stops. So we were like, Ashling, I think we can only keep on working if and only if we start making stuff ourselves because you can't rely on outside work, especially in this industry. It's not like, I don't know, if you're an economist and somebody wants to hire you, like that's going to be a permanent, requirement. With actors and directors and writers, it's more of us out there than actual work. So unless you start making work for yourself, you're going to have to rely on other people. So we talked about it and we were like, okay, she started talking about the British projects and I started pitching to her like the ideas that I have for scripts. And she was saying, "Yeah, if we do this as individual entities, like from a legal point of view, we're going to miss out on tax credits. We're going to miss out on grants. We're going to miss out on business loans. So if you want to do this, make a production company and then have everything done under the same umbrella. Because if I do a project and I write it under my name, and my husband does a project and he writes it under his name, and then she does a project and she has it under her name. If then I try to apply for something, I only have gonna have, to showcase only my work. Whereas if we like add everything under Paranoia, then we have like three times the project. So that's a higher chance to get the funding and visibility and everything. We still work the same, but from like a legal and the financial point of view, it's easier because the tax credits are higher. You can write off all your expenses. Expenses if you travel to London, I don't know, for a business meeting or something, you're going to have the tickets, the accommodation, and the food and everything, and you can deduct that especially if you have like a half decent accountant, and then based on that, you're going to have certain amount of tax credit. If I do it under my name, nothing gets deducted because I'm not a business myself. I'm just from like revenues point of view. or I think the American equivalent, the IRS. You went on a holiday to London. Why would you get a tax credit for that? You went to a nice hotel, you had a nice meal, and then you traveled business class. Why would I give you a tax credit for that? So if you do it under a business, you can write that off. And then based on that, if you add that to the budget of the production, you're even going to get tax credits. So that's it, basically it's not like a big dream that I had since I was a kid of like having a production company. It's something that arose from necessity and the way the financial system and the legal system is built around here. It's kind of like a natural evolution. Okay, I have this many projects, I have these expenses, I want to have this investment, and I forecast this return of investment. So how do I do that? I'm gonna need a company to do it, whether I want to or not. It wasn't easy. It was a big, big back and forth with paperwork. It was like every time you send something, they're gonna be like, "You didn't write this date on this piece of paper here. This signature is not here where you want it to, and you're gonna need to do this." And the shares, the allocation, and everything were like, "Oh, well, I think it took about 3 months to open it." But yeah, it's finally there. It's finally there.
Awesome, awesome. Glad to hear that. And also, that was some valuable insights. Thank you for sharing that. Um,
Not about it
we
anytime.
got a bunch of entrepreneurs who listen, actors who, want to find out how to reach a broader audience, and that's the way, right? Start a production company. All right. So also speaking of actors, you were at an event called the Actors Home. Could you share how was that experience?
Yeah, so the Actors Home is a platform that was created by the international casting director Lucy Lennox. It's basically a hub for all creatives, mostly actors, but also if you're like a writer or a director or anything, you will find the support that you need there. The platform itself is I wouldn't say divided, but more like it has several categories depending on which country you're from. It has like houses. It has like houses that very Harry Potter-ish, Hogwarts-ish, like a house. It sounds magical, and it is from a certain point of view. So the way it's structured right now, it's like on geographical reasons. For example, in Europe here, we have one that's in the United Kingdom, Ireland, Spain, Belgium, the Netherlands, Luxembourg. That's one house. There's one in Bulgaria, one in Germany, one in France. I think there was one more, but I think there's one in Portugal as well. And what they do is they all have like a virtual events and also in person. The one I went to was in person because one of the biggest film festivals here in Ireland is in Galway. So we went there with them to meet other actors and other creatives. It's a very good networking event because you have like everyone from Ireland just gathers there. It's like a vacuum. Whenever you have like a film festival, it's like, and there you can meet agents, you can meet casting directors, writers, producers, anything. Like if you have an idea to pitch, you go there to one of the actors' home events. Um, Also, if you're finding yourself like at the beginning of your career as an actor, I would strongly advise going to the Actors Home because they have tools and courses and everything that will help you develop, starting from like voice coaching, like how to use your entire vocal box, how to develop your range if you were into like voice acting, for example, how to use different structures, of your voice system. Or if you need coaching on mental health, let's say you have a role that's a bit demanding. So how do you do that? How do you get yourself in that point? There's like mindfulness Mondays where Ashling just goes through several steps on how to both get to that point and get yourself out of it if you're going through a lot in your life and you need to be on set, for example. How, how do you disconnect you as a person and how to get into the shoes of a character who they might be having the best times of your life. And then you, as a person, like your bills just went up. The food no longer is what it was, and you have all the international situations with wars and everything. Like, how do you disconnect from that? So that's what the mindfulness thing comes in. It's very helpful. They also have feedback on show reels. So if you're like in the beginning and if for example, you hear something about a certain role or a certain project coming near you, so how do you build your show reel? That's where Lucy will, she selects like 5 show reels per session and she like gives feedback and is like, okay, what are you trying to convey here from like a business point of view? She's very good with business. What are you trying to attract? Or like, what's the pitch that you want the show reel to tell about you? There's a lot of content that you can access on that. She has interviews with other casting directors. So if you know a project is being um, cast by a certain director, each casting director has their own, things that you're looking for. So she has these interviews. Be like, if you know Nancy Bishop is looking for someone for a certain role, how do you approach the role just so you can pique her interest? In the in-person events, as I said, they're good for networking and they're like all over the place. The members themselves, they can establish networking events as well. For example, if you have an idea, you can send an email and it's like, okay, I have this time and place and I would like to promote it with the actors home. And then they will promote it on all their social media so you have maximum visibility. The actors home is also amazing because if you have a project and you need financing, they will help you promote it, and that will put you in the sphere of interest of like producers, directors, or even other actors. So you can always reach the right people through them, you know? So it's amazing. Like when I went to the event, I didn't know exactly what to expect, but you have like actors and creatives from all stages of life. Like there was a gentleman who was in his 70s and he retired and he was like, you know what, I want to be an actor. And he had the best life advice you can take from that discussion with him, and you can apply it either to yourself or a character that you're building. You have this script, and he was like, okay, this person told me something that applies to my character, and you can apply to that, and you can take the advice of other actors. You also have directors at these events, other casting directors. You can have agents if I don't know, if you're not happy with your current agent for any reason. Let's say you just grew more than what your agent is available to offer to you. You can go to one of these events and you can find a different agent, or I don't know. You might want to delve into something different. One of the members was starting their journey as a mental health coach. So just found an agent that helped them with that particular side.
Awesome. That's awesome. I love that. Connection and community with the actors. That's needed, and I'm glad that that platform is available out there, and hopefully it keeps going to where we can, increase the community, bring more actors to the community. All right, Andrew. So we're at that part of the episode where I ask all the guests this question. What is a book, a TV show, or a film that you recommend to the next aspiring actor?
Mm. Ooh, I have a YouTube channel to recommend actually.
All right, that's even better.
Um, BAFTA has a channel where they publish interviews with actors. And the way the interviews are structured is from a human point of view, you know? It's not like what you see on E Entertainment or something. It's not something that you see on the big TV networks. It's like it's very human. It takes the actor, and there was an interview with Nicole Kidman, and the way they establish the chemistry between the interviewer and the actor makes the actor leave aside all that glamour, the smoke and mirrors, and tell it as it is. So yeah, I actually I don't know exactly because it's been a while, but that's what got me started. That YouTube channel. I went to that channel and I watched all the interviews. Um, Particularly the one that stuck with me was Nicole Kidman, who said she doesn't care how they change her appearance or her character on set. She was saying things like, "You can cut my hair, you can dye it any way you want. I don't care. I That will help me get into character." You know, there are some actors who are very particular about the way they look or anything. Another one was with Bill Nye, who was saying, even if you're not currently working on a project, the way you can still develop as an actor is by being constantly consuming art. If you're not working on a script right now, if you're not preparing a character, go to an art gallery, go to a concert, just feed your soul the art that it needs. Um, Also, you will find with these interviews that even the biggest names in the industry, they have the same fears, they have the same insecurities as you. Who was it? Alan Rickman was saying he hates seeing himself on camera. Maggie Smith was like she just cannot stand seeing herself. And if these big names they have these issues, then you kind of feel like reassured that you don't like the sound of your own voice. That's fine, that's normal. Or if you don't like the way you look from a certain angle, that's fine, it's okay. You don't have to be in love with yourself to be an actor. The same, the tabloids portray it. Like, oh, you're so infatuated. That's why they go to the gym, or that's why they have all the plastic surgery, so they love themselves or anything. Or that's why they're doing certain things and that's why they want to be seen or something like that. And then when you go behind all that, I mean, when you watch these interviews, you're like, they are human. They are as human as me. So if they're at that level and they still have the same insecurities when they started, then this job, this career is for me after all. Like I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to love anything about myself. I just have to love to act. And that's kind of the message behind it.
Awesome, awesome. All right, Andrew, thanks for joining us today. Everyone, that was actor and writer Andrew Burr. Andrew, thank you again for joining us and sharing your insights. Look forward to checking out your projects and seeing more of your work. All right, everyone, if you love today's episode, don't forget to check us out on YouTube every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Remember, stay inspired and keep creating. Devon Jones, signing out.